So let's talk tipping and how out of control it's gotten over the past year or so. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Adam Kahn and I'm the Rational Investor. So I'm visiting my in-laws out here in California and I'm noticing a new trend that isn't so new, but it's getting to the point that everywhere is asking for tips. It's just gotten out of control to the point where CNBC even did a, a a an episode on it. So yesterday I went to Starbucks and I bought a $3 coffee and was prompted to give a one, a two, or a $3 tip. And what went through my head is the lowest percentage it asked me to give was 33% versus 66% versus 100% tip for a cup of coffee. When I go to a sit down restaurant, I'm not expected to leave a 33%. And a lot of people are like, well, it's only a dollar. Well, those dollars add up a lot quicker than other things. I mean, go to the supermarket and take a loaf of bread that's gone up a dollar or two and multiply that through everything you buy to the point that it's hard to eat less than 10 or $20 a day of food. Are we going to get to the grocery store and the checkout person needs a tip and the bagger? And are we going to go to a clothing store and the person checking us out there should get a tip as well? I hate to be so rude to the people at takeout facilities and things like that, but the job of ringing the register doesn't change all that much whether you're working at a clothing store, a shoe store, or Starbucks. I'm sure the baristas that have to do additional items in terms of cleaning, and I owned a restaurant, so I know what it entails. But my God, 100% tip for a cup of coffee. Now, so those of you who know, I picked zero because I'm fed up with it. And anybody who feels like then I shouldn't be able to go to the establishment if I'm not willing to tip, well, A, too bad for you, and B, I'm beginning to not frequent those places. It was the same thing at a Shake Shack that I went to the other day, where not only were they requesting me to give a minimum of a 15% on their automated options, the person checking me out decided to lean over the counter, point to the places on the pad where I was supposed to choose, and let me know I had to make that decision in advance. My frustration is if I don't tip, are you going to give me a different product? Or are you going to treat it differently? Or vice versa, in some regards, if I tip better, are you going to give me a better coffee? And when does it get to the point that my mechanic and the guy doing an oil change and the doctor I see starts to need a tip because the companies aren't paying enough? I can understand the employee's side that they don't feel like it's a fair wage. But then if you have to raise the price of the cup of coffee to make sure the employees get paid appropriately, that's one thing. The problem is during the pandemic, myself included, oh, look at the wind. We were also appreciative of people going to work that we tipped and we tipped generously. It was a scary time, and people showing up to work was really appreciated by everybody. If I went to a Starbucks during the pandemic, or in the middle of it, because maybe we're still in it, really, I was super appreciative that people showed up in a time when they were scared of getting sick or caught COVID from people coming into the store. So, myself included, I would tip and I would tip really generously. However, we're not still in that same position. At this point, going to work is just going to work, and doing your job is doing your job. If you think that we should tip simply because you show up and do your job, I'm sorry, I'm in a different camp at this point. And I sure don't see why that you would tip the same amount as a full service sit down restaurant. And a lot of these places are starting at 18 or 20% and asking for 18, 20, 25, or 20, 25, and 30, because what they found is that the more they ask, the more people give. Now, unfortunately, they give out of feeling uncomfortable and feeling pressured to do so. It's awful on every level, and the companies that are encouraging it should be ashamed. You used to go to a deli and maybe you leave your change or an extra dollar out of appreciation, or if somebody went above and beyond, sure. But requesting a 20% tip for handing a bag. I mean, I went to a Chinese restaurant that I had ordered online, showed up, and the bag is ready for me to pick up. And when I go to pay, it prompts 18, 22, and 25% tip for me to pick up my food. How absurd. Like, it's gotten out of control. And again, I know I'm one of the few, but on the companies, like, I'm not going to go back to Shake Shack, and I'm sure not going to go back to Starbucks either. And I'm a stockholder of Starbucks. I got no issue with their stock in the company, but I'm not going to go there. When it happened at Shake Shack, I got frustrated enough. The shares that I did have, I sold, but that's a separate issue. So anyway, I'm going to keep it short. I don't want to get into other issues as to what I see coming, because what ends up happening is the McDonald's of the world have already started doing employee-less, stores. They opened up one up, I think it was in Texas, that has no employees. I have a feeling that's where we're going to end up going. So have a great day. Talk to you soon.